Hey, my name's Alex. I'm just going to be talking about different ways that you can start acting and hopefully start acting as soon as possible, basically, and also how I've done it so far. So, I started out with short films, and I even started that before I really thought I'd be getting into acting. And it's a great way to start because if you really wanted to, you could start today. You could start thinking of a short film idea, you could start getting a few friends together and actually just create something. Even if it's terrible, it's a great way just to get into it. And it's sort of being in the doing. You want to start doing as soon as you can rather than thinking about doing, which is where I was for a long time. So one way to do that, there's different competitions that you can be a part of. One of them that I've been a part of for a few years is called the 48-hour film project. And basically you have 48 hours from start to finish to create, write, direct, make the film, edit the film, and then they show it in a cinema for some viewing nights, basically. So it's a good way to have your work seen and also have that pressure. For me, it was great having basically the deadline to actually do it because then I didn't just keep putting it off, and it was sort of set guidelines, which just make it easier to start. But you can always, there's other competitions out there. You can always just make skits for Instagram or just for a few of your friends. Sometimes I just make a little quick video for friends just for a laugh. And it's just a great way to actually start acting and to start quickly, essentially. It's also a good way to get experience before doing the other two things. So the next way, which is more appropriate for Australia, because I'm just talking about what I know, and as I'm Australian, it's easier to go down that way of what I've actually done. And one of those things is signing up. It's more like posting on this thing called Star Now. So you create a profile. It's super easy. I'm not affiliated or anything, but that's what I use to get different acting jobs. It's kind of like a place where you can post ads for yourself and also apply for other people's acting jobs. So that's how I got my first paid job as an extra in a feature film in a city near me. And then basically didn't have much experience. I think I'd done maybe one or two short films at that point. So there wasn't basically a huge amount of experience which I needed or anything. So I signed up and applied for it, and I got a call like a few days later. And they said, yeah, if you can make it this weekend, we'd love to have you. And basically on that website as well, I just emphasize how much I'm there for them. Like I want to help them create their project. Whereas a lot of people have the attitude is, oh, they should be so lucky to have me act for them, which I don't know, might be the case for you. But when I come of it as in terms of I really want to help them create whatever they're after, it just seems a lot more sort of like a better approach to have, in my opinion. So that's what I said to them. I'm happy to do whatever they wanted to do. And they wanted me to be a mourner at a funeral for them. And I was just standing behind the main cast. I'll go into that more another time, but that's just one of the jobs I've had from Star Now. But basically it's almost a bit like Facebook. You create a profile, put a few photos on there. I just got my friend to take some headshots of me just with a normal camera. You can do that as well. Some people even use their iPhone and put it on there and just write a little blurb about yourself, basically. And that's another way just to get started. Like you could do that today if you wanted to and just put it out there. And it's all these little steps that sort of get you towards where you want to be. And the third way is with getting an agent. I haven't done this yet. I've almost been kind of avoiding it just because I've heard so many not so great stories about people starting out. But out of everyone who's had a bad story, I'm sure there's a few good stories out there. So I will end up getting an agent eventually. But at least for now, Star Now has been satisfying me in terms of getting acting jobs and doing acting, basically. But that's just another way to go at it. But it does require a bit more experience usually. They usually expect you to have sort of something that you've done already. So it can be difficult that way. So I don't know a lot about that yet, but that's just another way that you can go about getting into the acting field. So you just need to have your, face like shots, and just a clear, simple one. And then you can send that off to different agencies and then usually organize a interview kind of thing or a little audition with a monologue. And that's another way to start out in acting. But I'd definitely recommend the first two ways to do as soon as possible. If you're thinking about acting, if you've always wanted to do it, if you've already done a little bit, it's always good to go back to those two things just to keep getting experience. And that's basically how I've started. So I'd recommend that to you as well, especially if you're in Australia. They do have alternatives for Star Now in the US. I think, can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but if you just Google it, it should come up. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked it, leave a like. If you'd like to see more, subscribe. And I'll see you around, I guess. Thanks. Bye.